In today's episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief, I sit down with Sean and Alexander from Bad Kerning Games to see if they can go ahead and pick it, pitch it, and profit from Sellouts, the game that's currently on Kickstarter. Then we'll see what else is on Kickstarter. But first, a message from our sponsors. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is proudly being powered by our friends over at Gold Chuckle LLC, who just launched Hasty Baker, which is the kind of card game I could see becoming a household favorite. The concept's fresh with its baking theme, plus you won't get your kitchen all dirty through baking, but you can still bring this to your tabletop. The illustrations are just great. You just get this super positive vibe that I love. I think they did a great job of building strategy into the game by making the cards able to help or hurt other players. For example, one of the cards they have in the game is a double batch card on a recipe. Whether it's your own or someone else's, means that you have to get double all the ingredients to finish the recipe, which obviously is going to slow your opponent down, but it also gives the player double points, so it's not as straightforward as it might sound. Hang on until our Kickstarter Corner portion of the show to find out about an awesome giveaway we've teamed up with them to bring you guys over at thegiveawaygeek.com, of course. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the show.
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
I'm going to rob a bank in a few minutes, and nobody brought any equipment.
Well, boy, do I have the thing for you. What I have for you is a hand grenade. Not only is it just a hand grenade, that's a very intimidating item, it also makes you immortal. So hold this grenade up and go out in a blaze of glory, except you won't be going out. You'll be walking out those doors worry-free. Not only that, you might be saying to yourself, but what if I get caught and arrested by the police? Well, this grenade can't be used against you in the court of law because it wishes for your hand in marriage and will be legally, they will not be able to compel the grenade to testify against you in the court of law. So you'll be safe.
Did that sound familiar to you guys? It didn't to me either, but this is a story or one of the many stories you might experience if you play Sellouts, a game about saying anything to get a sell. And today we're lucky enough to be joined by the creators and masterminds of this game. Is that right, Sean and Alexander? Is that how you fall in line with Sellouts?
That is correct.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
No problem. Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, no problem at all. Now, before we jump into your game and everything, let's rewind a little bit if we could. How did you guys get into playing tabletop board game? Maybe we'll start with you, Sean, and then you afterwards, Alexander.
So my interest in tabletop gaming started a long time ago when my brother used to play an odd version of Risk that I was unfamiliar with, where people were in outer space. But he never let me play with him and his friends. So it was a long time after that I actually started to get into it because of a YouTube channel, Tabletop with Will Wheaton. He started to get me into a lot of different board games, and my interest in it as a hobby just blossomed from there.
Awesome. And what are you playing these days?
Very recently, we played Mansions of Madness. We died pretty horribly on one of the missions, but it was a great time.
Awesome. And what about yourself, Alexander?
Oh, gosh. I've kind of always been into tabletop since I was a little kid. My family used to have board game nights, and that kind of got me into it. And then over time, I got interested in things like tabletop RPGs, like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. Ironically, or I guess coincidentally, like Sean was saying, his older brother wouldn't let him play that Risk game. I was in Boy Scouts of America, and the older kids in my troop would play D&D, and they wouldn't let me take part. And me and my friend Nathan, we ended up coming up with our own tabletop RPG to play in the meantime because they wouldn't let us play D&D.
Oh boy, how'd that turn out?
Pretty good. We actually got a bunch of our friends into it. We played one game of it for 7 years.
And it was a completely different game, or that you came up with?
Yeah, completely new RPG system and everything.
Oh wow. So what came of it?
Nothing yet. That was just a little pet thing that we did. But as for any games that I've been playing recently, I recently played Clank in Space. That was really fun.
So is that any good? What do you call it? I have Clank. My wife got it for me for Christmas, but I haven't been able to get over the anxiety of learning new games. I have a hard time learning new games or whatnot. But yeah, I really like deck builders. How is it?
Really fun. Yeah, surprisingly easy to learn, I would say. There's a lot of games like that that'll open up and I'll take a look at the rules and I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to handle this. But yeah, it was. I played it at a party, and even though people were drinking, having a good time, we were able to learn the rules relatively easily. So I recommend it.
Well, that's good to hear. And have you played the regular? Because I think ours is just regular Clank, the first one. Is the Space add anything, or did you play both of them?
I actually haven't played the original Clank, so I can't speak to that. But
Oh, there you go. And I guess the word on the street is they have an underwater one now too, maybe?
yeah, I've heard of it. I don't know anything about it, but I have heard of it.
Well, there you go. Now something you guys may probably know a lot about. Word on the street is you guys have a new game on Kickstarter. What can you tell us about Sellouts?
Sean, you want to take it away?
So Sellouts comes from the same sort of style of games like Cards Against Humanity and Fun Employed, but it borrows some elements from those concepts and stretches them. So the idea is you want to pitch a product to your judge, and you want the judge to buy your product, and that's the baseline of it. But the other side of it is you've got two things working against you. All the other players also want to sell their product, and one of your features is completely random, drawn off the top of the deck. So you might have a really good pitch going, and then you get something that kind of throws you off. And if you can't spin it, it might take away from you having a really good product. And in a way that sort of balances things out. So people who are really good salespeople might do not as well at spinning odd features, whereas worse salespeople in general might get better draws. But it's a pretty good balancing mechanic overall.
So what did you have to spin to us with the hand grenade then?
Well, some people might be turned off by the idea that it wishes for your hand in marriage. Some people don't like commitment. Some people don't want to be married to a hand grenade. And quite frankly, I don't think it's legal in some states.
Okay, so you're actually married to a hand grenade then?
Yes. Well, I suppose you wouldn't have to accept the marriage request, but
why would you turn it down?
Yeah, why you wouldn't want to risk having it used against you in court.
That's true. Oh, wow. What are some of the other, far out there, I guess, what are some of the other items as well as spins that you can have on them?
Oh, man. So we have a lot of the cards are really open to interpretation on purpose. That way you can kind of come up with whatever you want to. We frequently say that the only limit is your creativity. Like one of the products, I believe, is it says a predator, but it's open to interpretation if that's like a criminal predator or a predator from Aliens versus Predators,
like a bear,
a predator drone. Yeah, it could be like that is open to interpretation. And then I don't know, Sean, do you have any other features in mind that any good spins in mind that you can remember?
Sure. One of the ones that caught me off guard when I heard it in a test game was we have a card that says must be registered with the government, and a lot of people, if that card comes up when they're pitching something that's sort of criminally inclined, like a gun or something, it's usually a lot of people say, well, that's kind of a big problem, so my pitch sort of ends here. But then there's one time someone actually said, I think it was an atomic weapon. They said this is an atomic weapon, so it must be registered with the government. Like, obviously it's already registered. And it blew my mind that somebody was able to like, just the way you say the words on the card can completely change the meaning of it.
Oh, wow. It sounds like quite the game. Do you guys have favorite objects then?
One of my favorite cards from the beginning, very early in designing the game, has always been the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
Oh, wow.
The product itself is not super open to interpretation, but at the same time, it evokes this visual in your mind. So when you get a card, when you get that card and you get the random draw that it has chainsaw arms, suddenly you've got a flailing, death machine that you don't want to get near because it's so unpredictable.
The mental imagery that this game can put in your head is amazing sometimes.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like it. What about yourself, Alex? Do you have a favorite card or item, I guess?
Let's see. Favorite card. There's a lot of cards, so it's hard to pick favorites. I'd say one of my favorite products is an unopened can of whoop ass that you can sell. That solves a lot of problems. As for like, yeah, as for like features or things, well, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there's lots that the card list has gone through a lot of refinement over the years to become what it is today.
I'd imagine. So per se, we sat down to play sellouts. What's my turn going to look like, or what's the game look like?
Sure. So everyone draws cards, puts them into their hand. So you get a couple products, you get 3 of them, and you get 5 features. And you can you'll look at them and decide, start thinking, all right, here's what I want to put together. The customer is the judge in this case. They will flip over a problem, like the one I said earlier about robbing the bank. And then everyone will simultaneously at the same time, they're going to try and put together a product and a feature from their hand to best solve that problem. So they're going to put down a product and a feature. And then when it comes time to do their pitches, everyone kind of goes around in a circle. And you'll say, here's what I have, here's a feature of it, here's how that can help you. And then you'll take a random card off the top of the feature deck and work that into your pitch. So it's all about spinning that. And then once everyone has gone through their pitches, the customer decides whichever one, whichever product best solves their problem. And then the back of the problem card looks like $1. So you award the product that you're buying with the salesman that has the product that you're buying. You give them $1, so you're buying their product, and then the customer rotates to the left, and it kind of goes around like that.
Oh, okay, cool, awesome. That sounds pretty cool. So you talked about playtesting. During playtesting, was there anything you had to scrap because it just wouldn't work for the game?
We had a lot of rules early on that we really wanted to consider, such as like adding point values to products. Or to problems even. But at the end of the day, it just cluttered what we thought just needed to be a very open, free-form game. Like, whenever we play a game with people, by the time we get to the end of the game, very rarely do I see the players say, okay, who actually won? Who got the most problem cards? It's one of those games that ends and everybody kind of won because they had a great time.
Well, there's one winner, but everybody just had a great time, so they all won together and ended up wanting to play. So does one person be the judge, or do people switch back and forth, or how does that look?
The person who bought something most recently out in the world, they are actually the first judge of the game. We dub them the customer, and the customer draws their their problem card. And so everybody starting at the left of the customer gives a pitch for their product. The customer buys the product that they like the most for their card, and then the next person to the left becomes the customer, and it just keeps moving around the table like that. You do 3 rounds of that, and then the game is over.
It sounds like quite the game. So what do you say if we play a little bit?
Sure.
If you guys can go first, if one of you goes, and then the other one, and then I can go last, and we can see what the podcast listeners think who is the best at selling something. What do you guys say?
I like that.
If you want, I can grab a problem straight out of the game.
Yeah. Why not? I don't have a copy of the game, unfortunately, here, so I can't do it.
I do have one that always makes me laugh. I can't open a bag of chips because my hands are too greasy from my previous bag of chips. Everybody loves chips, and grease is a real epidemic.
A common everyday problem.
There you go. So he's going to come up with the product, and have you sell it, or what's the plan? How does it go?
Yep. So if you'd like, I can draw 3 products and 5 features from the deck I have next to me for you. If you wanna choose from those,
Okay.
because my product is going to be a hand grenade. No.
Oh boy. Yeah, hey, that's no fair. Yeah, you guys can pick anything for me, huh? That's not fair because I don't have the game.
Is it? I was also simultaneously thinking something violent.
I mean, I might just top deck it, not even pick from a hand.
And what do you call it? So what am I doing? I'm going to be picking product and feature. Or what do I do again?
One product.
Oh, you can't see, but I'm totally playing fair. Just yeah, sometimes we do that for fun. We'll just not even look or not even play with a hand, like kind of like as a challenge. We'll just try and spin, like we just practice our spinning skills, no matter what we get. Yeah, so the products are listed there. So in your hand, you have a hoverboard, handcuffs, and a flamethrower. So you would decide whichever one of those you think would best help in this situation with the potato chips. And then you would apply a feature to it. So if you picked flamethrower and then you played Bluetooth, the flamethrower has Bluetooth or however you want to spin it. Or it could be a limited edition flamethrower.
Okay, so I pick one product and one feature, or how many features do I pick?
One feature from your hand, and then I'll give you a random one.
So you'll pick one of those products, one of those features, and then Sean will give you a random one that you have to work into it.
So while I'm thinking about it, does somebody else want to? Do you want to go ahead, Alexander, and go ahead and try to sell us something, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I have one ready.
And we all have the same problem. Is that correct about the chips?
Yes.
Yes. So we are all coming up with our own products and pitches for how we can help this customer with their chip problem.
Okay.
All right. So you can't open a bag of potato chips because your hand's already too greasy from the previous bag of potato chips. I get it. That's a common issue. What I have for you today is a pistol. Why use your hands to open up a bag of chips when you could just shoot a hole in the bag and get your potato chips that way? You might be thinking, where did I get this gun from? Don't worry about it. It has 2-factor authentication, so you never have to worry about anyone, hacking in and using your gun without your permission. So it's very secure. Not only that, this gun is really cool because it wants you to bring back the 90s, and the 90s are back in again. So this is the perfect time to bring back the 90s. The pistol's cool like that.
It is a great time to bring back the 90s. That's what my colleague over here is saying is true. However, you know what people don't like in residential areas? Shooting. So I say, let's buy a cheeseburger. Now, cheeseburgers have bread on them, which is very absorbent for the grease. So you could just wipe your fingers off on the cheeseburger, and then you could also eat the cheeseburger if you're still feeling hungry. This cheeseburger also transmits Wi-Fi, which is a wonderful feature in today's day and age. Never be away from your internet connection. And maybe you're concerned about potential ghosts or spirits that are released from opening these bags of chips. Well, never worry, because the cheeseburger reveals ghosts and spirits nearby. So you will always be aware of any ghost presence released by these chips.
Oh boy. Well, if anybody listens to the podcast for quite some time, they know I'm a big fan of the 90s. I can't get enough of 90s stuff. My kids are always calling me old, and I like the idea of Wi-Fi, and I used to really dig burgers or whatnot, but now since I'm not eating bread and stuff because I'm trying to be on a ketogenic diet, I have a great flamethrower for you. So this flamethrower, well, you think, how is that going to open a bag of chips for me? Well, that's not the problem. You might want to warm your chips up in case they're cold, or you might want to make your own out of potatoes. But if you really want those chips and your hands are too greasy, just go ahead and throw off this flamethrower, and it will call the police for you, call the police on you for fun, and 2 great policemen will come to your door. They won't have they won't have to, what do you call it? They won't have to turn you in. You won't have to be hauled off to jail or anything. But they'll have a powerful punch, and they'll be able to actually open those chips bags for you at your beck and call. So use a flamethrower to flamethrow whatever you want, and have 2 policemen show up and open any chips that you might have too greasy of hands to do.
I like it.
That's really good. I've never heard of anyone actually using the police to help with something in that regard.
The only problem I could see coming up, and we've already played, so people can go ahead and guess and say what one they think is best, but that they might have 2 greasy hands, I don't know, or 2 sugar or whatnot from the donuts, or maybe they have their own chips, and so they have the same problem.
Then you just got to get more cops.
That's true. We don't know.
Oh boy, yeah, endless problem, huh?
Yeah, 2 more cops to help those cops. Yeah.
Oh boy, endless problem. So I just had this idea with Alexander and Sean. For listeners of the podcast, what do? They go ahead and email me and say who won or whatnot, who they think is the best salesman out of us. And one lucky winner will win a copy of Sellouts, or what do you guys say? What's the prize?
Yeah.
Yep, copy of Sellouts.
Awesome. And also, word on the street is that's not only it. That's not the only chance to win, but you guys are doing a giveaway with us also on the giveawaygeek.com. What can somebody win by entering there?
So for the giveaway on the Giveaway Geek, we're going to be giving away 5 copies of our previous successful Kickstarter game, which is also related to Sellouts. It's called Sellouts Traveling Salesman Edition, and it is a smaller portable version that's great for like conventions and things and taking them around. It's only the size of a deck of playing cards. It's super handy, and it's 100% compatible with this new Sellouts game, which is really cool. So
like, is it an expansion or what is it?
It's standalone, but also kind of an expansion because it can be. They use the same card backs, so you can actually put those cards in your regular Sellouts deck, and it would work.
Okay, awesome. So, and they said 5 winners that way?
Yep, we'll have 5 copies of that, and then 1 copy of Sellouts from this Kickstarter. So it'll be a total of 6 prizes.
Oh, okay. And then on top of lucky emailer who emailed me on who had the best product as well?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So yeah, go ahead and enter right now. If the giveaway is not up yet, it will be up shortly, and we'll make sure we leave links in the show notes as well as right from where you're listening on your podcast catcher. You should be able to click on the link and go ahead and enter that way. And we don't want to keep you guys all day, so Minus coming to your hometown to stalk you. How can people go about keeping up with you and everything that you're doing over there with Sellouts and other games you might have in the future?
Okay. Well, obviously we have the Kickstarter going on right now that people can check out. We can be found on Facebook. We are facebook.com/selloutsgame or Bad Kerning Productions. That's our company page on Facebook. We also have similarly from there you can find our Twitter. We have Instagram. If you just look for like Sellouts Game, you should find us on Instagram, stuff like that. Sean, is there anything else you can think of?
Nope. You hit all the main points.
Awesome. And speaking of keeping up with you, I know right now we're focused on getting Sellouts funded and everything on Kickstarter, but somebody's listening later on down the road after the Kickstarter's fulfilled and everything. Is there any secrets in your back pocket of other games you might be working on?
Ooh, I don't know, Sean. Should we tease something?
Yeah, we could. Do you want to... I'm not prepared for something like this. I'll let you use your best judgment.
Okay. Let's just say the next game in our pipeline that we're working on is not a card game like Sellouts. It will have a physical board. And right now the working title of the game is Crucible.
Oh boy, so they'll have to stay tuned for that. So you don't overpromise and underdeliver. If somebody goes ahead and they back Sellouts, when would they anticipate getting their game so they can try to sell a more creative product to their friends?
Our goal is to have them on shore in December and then shipped out as soon as possible after that. So end of December.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you're listening and you like what you've heard, especially my flamethrower, make sure you go ahead and jump on over to Sellouts, a game about saying anything to get a sell that's on Kickstarter through the end of September 29th to be exact, and make sure you back the game. Plus, make sure you go ahead and enter to win a copy, because you might as well back it, and then you can give a copy to your friends or something if you win. So no need to be shy there. And at the time of this recording, there's still, well, there was 4. Now there's only 3 copies of the early bird available. So make sure you hurry and jump on over and back Sellouts. A game about saying anything to get a sell. But yeah, like I said, we don't want to keep you guys all night, but we really appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief with us to talk all about sellouts. We really appreciate it, Alexander and Sean.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much again for having us.
No problem. Wow, and I thought Sellouts was a fun game before I sat down with these two. Now I'm even more excited to play it than I was before. If you feel the same way, make sure you go ahead and back Sellouts. That'll be on Kickstarter. It'll be there through the 29th of September. Don't dilly-dally, and let's make Sellouts, a game about saying anything to get a sell, a reality. Now let's go with Batterina Leaf. Where are we going, Batterina?
Kickstarter corner!
The most merciful thing in the world, I think, is the inability of the human mind to correlate all its contents. We live on a placid island of ignorance in the midst of black seas of infinity, and it was not meant that we should voyage far. The sciences, each straining in its own direction, have hitherto harmed us little, but someday the piecing together of disassociated knowledge will open up such terrifying vistas of reality and of our frightful position therein, that we shall either go mad from the revelation or flee from the deadly light into the peace and safety of a new dark age, said H.P. Lovecraft in The Call of Cthulhu. Times are dark and sinister agents move in the shadows. In elder shadows, as the cultist, you will set perilous traps, summon fearful specters, and cast reality warping spells to protect the secrets of the elder shadows. Chanting secret phrases, you will acquire a combination of symbols on each location to complete the rite of your eldritch nightmare. As the investigations to expose the cult, facing maddening dangers and grotesque specters, your duty is to find the horrors that lurk in those elder shadows. Can you stop the elder ones from awakening? Elder Shadows on Kickstarter for the month of September is a 2-player strategy card game set in H.P. Lovecraft's beloved mythos. The cult clashes with the investigator in a game where sanity matters most, and one misstep could signal the end of humanity. There's a giveaway going on over at our other site, thegiveawaygeek.com. Plus, we'll be having Nicholas on the show later on this week or early next week, so make sure you're subscribed to our podcast in your favorite podcast catcher. And if this is after the recording, make sure you go back and listen to our Elder Shadows episode on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, so you don't miss out on all the Cthulhu fun we'll be having. Make sure you head on over and enter the giveaway today and back Elder Shadows on Kickstarter before the 2nd of October. I'm a big fan of the 70s and the 90s. The Gamer Leaf family constantly calls me old. Don't tell them I'm starting to believe them. I've never really played war games, but when I saw this game on Kickstarter, I knew I had to have it. What game, you may ask yourself? Well, that's a great question. Good thing I'm here. It's Saigon 75, in which you relive the civil war that took place between North and South Vietnam from the summer of 73 to the spring of 1975. It plays 1 to 2 players, and it takes about 60 minutes, and it's for 14 years and older. Saigon 75 is a simple and swift strategic game simulating that civil war between North and South Vietnam from summer of 1973 to the spring of 1975. Everything's contained within a few pages of rules and 1 hour of fun. With pressure at every moment, the game portrays the differences between the North Vietnamese divisions and the Rangers, Marines, paratroopers, and other units of the South Vietnamese. Air Power and Desertion are also featured, with the experience being completed by event cards that give the game great replayability. It's an ingenious mix that keeps the players on tenterhooks right up until the last turn. There will be no pledge manager for Saigon 75, but you know what there will be? That's right, there will be a giveaway over at thegiveawaygeek.com, so be on the lookout for that and back Saigon 75 before Tuesday the 10th of September. Also, make sure you're subscribed to Getting Geeky with Game Relief so you don't miss my episode as I sit down with the creators and masterminds of Saigon 75 later on this week or early next week. And either way, make sure you back Saigon 75 before Tuesday the 10th of September. Baking and cooking always take cleanup time, but food can be oh so good. What if I told you that the cleanup and eating portion of baking could be taken care of for you, and you could still get it to the tabletop? Well, I can't necessarily do it for you, but luckily the brothers over at Gold Chuckle LLC have you covered with their current Kickstarter game. That's right, it's Hasty Baker, the card game in which players race to collect the ingredients needed for their recipes before others sabotage them. It looks like a really fun game. Hasty Baker is an exciting new card game. It's fast-paced, easy to learn, yet full of opportunities to strategize to keep other players on their toes. The goal of the game is to be the first to complete your recipes. Each completed recipe gives you 1 point, and the first player to get to 5 points wins. You begin each turn with the recipe and 7 cards from the draw pile that include playful ingredients and strategy cards that help you prevent other players from completing their recipes. That's nice to take that. You know we don't care for co-op games in the Leaf household. Word on the street is we'll be doing an episode dedicated solely to this game, so make sure you subscribe to Getting Geeky with Game Relief in your podcast catcher so you don't miss it. Or, if it's already aired, make sure you go back and look for our Hasty Baker episode. Plus, we'll be doing a giveaway, unlike what you've usually seen over at thegiveawaygeek.com. This will be done over through our Facebook page, The Giveaway Geek. So make sure you've liked or are following our Facebook page, The Giveaway Geek, on Facebook, like I said, and be on the lookout for that so you don't miss the fun of this giveaway, and so you don't miss the fun game. Make sure you back Hasty Baker, the card game, on Kickstarter before Monday, the 30th of September. There is a world out there where everyone is a torso, separated from their butts. No one is sure why or how, but one thing's for certain, everyone wants their butts back. Unfortunately, there is only one butt left in the entire world, the almighty butt. And everyone wants it for themselves. This is the world of the Everyone Shares One Butt game. The Everyone Shares One Butt game is a new path-building party game. There are unlimited ways to play. With more than 100 unique cards and various synergies, every playthrough will be different from the last. Be the first one to reach the almighty butt to win. Some exclusive cards will also be available on their Kickstarter. Go check it out. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast Getting Geeky with Game Relief so you don't miss my sit down with the creators of this game next week. Or if you're listening later on, we'll have that interview airing the first week in September 2019. If you don't have a game where there's only one buttocks, make sure you go back the Everyone Shares One Butt game before September 25th, 2019. Did you catch my last episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief all about the King of Indecision? Nope? Well, go back and listen. We'll wait for you. What'd you think? My thoughts exactly. Sounds like quite the game. I can't wait to play it. King of Indecision is a game for 2 to 5 players that plays in about 40 to 50 minutes. You play the role of a noble trying to gain the favor of the king, but his Royal Highness is very indecisive, changing his mind about what he wants. Still, you gather as much gold, silk, spice, white stallions, or peacocks that he desires for that moment to earn his favor in court. On your turn, you have 6 actions to choose from and will select 3. You can add or move to another tile to explore. You can gather treasure, you can hire new workers, or make a trade, and most importantly, make an offering to the king. The timing of your offering is everything and can make or break the moment when the king suddenly changes his mind, demanding something else. Through 5 rounds of play, the stakes get higher and available options increase. You'll need to watch other nobles and make the right decision at the right time. The player who gains the most favor by the end of the game will be the winner. It's not easy being a noble in this court, but the elements of surprise, strategy, and suspense are what keeps players coming back to the King of Indecision. Here's what some people are saying. This game is so easy to learn and so fun to play. Would play it over and over again as it's completely different each time, said Penny Slack. I enjoyed this game as much as Century or Splendor, said Harry Lee. Very original and enjoyable game. Highly recommended, said Tina. Super fun to play. Very exciting. Keeps all players on their toes through the game, said Yes Carr. And last but not least, is David Espinoza had this to say, I recommend this game to everyone. So make sure you go check out King of Indecision on Kickstarter. Listen to our episode if you missed it still. And back it before the end of the month. And make sure you head on over to thegiveawaygeek.com. We've got some awesome giveaways going on. More being added every day almost. So make sure you check that out. And let's go ahead and close this episode out, shall we, people? If you liked any of the games we talked about in today's episode, make sure you check out their Kickstarter campaigns to show them and us a little love. Backing them goes a long way. Plus, make sure to stay up to date on all the giveaways we're doing over at thegiveawaygeek.com. There will be at least 2 to 3 new giveaways going live over there next week. It's our least favorite time as well as yours. So until next episode, make sure you go ahead and get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others in the geekfold by sharing our episodes with others, as well as keeping up with the giveaways we're doing over at thegiveawaygeek.com. Gamer Leaf out.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.